There are a lot of pressures that you're feeling right now. In fact, some of you listen to this podcast because you are putting pressure on yourself to be more godly. And what I've learned is that's not really the way the God of the Bible works. The God of the Bible actually is after a relationship with you. And when he has a relationship with you, let's just look at Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not fear. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. That is not a God that screams pressure. That is a God that is a respite from the pressure. And it breaks my heart for myself and for all of us that have somehow picked up a voice in our head, whether it was because of a broken relationship with your father or father figure, whether it was because of an unhealthy church experience, where we pick up a voice that isn't God's, that we think is God's, that's basically saying you should, when he's saying, actually, I want to take care of you. I actually want to lead you beside still waters. I actually want to restore your soul, not wear it out. And when we approach something as big as our identity, what can happen to us is we can immediately start to think, what do I need to achieve so that I am awesome, so that I measure up, so that I am complete and whole? And what God would say is actually, let's begin with compassion. Let's begin with the grace for you to be imperfect, for your identity to have some holes, for your personhood to have some places that are really broken that maybe you wish weren't there. And let's just start with what is. Let's start with what is true. And so I want you to ask yourself these questions today. I want you to ask yourself, how are you doing? The different parts of you. I want you to think about your body. I want you to think about your emotions. I want you to think about your mental health. I want you to think about your work, your friendships. I want you to kind of think of yourself as a really big picture, that puzzle that has lots of different pieces. And I want you to take each piece and I want you to really look at it. And I want you to write down like, okay, how is this part of my life right now? And I want you to say, okay, you know what? It's feeling lacking. And when you get to a part, which maybe all of them will be here, and that's okay, that you feel like, gosh, that's extra broken, or I feel like this part is almost non-existent. My spiritual life is almost non-existent. I want you to actually just have a lot of compassion for yourself and for that part of yourself. And I want you to truly allow God to shepherd you. And here's how I do that most often in my life. In fact, we're going to talk about these two questions a lot. I ask God this. I say, God, when I'm looking at this problem, when I'm looking at this part of my life, when I'm looking at this feeling that I'm having, I say, God, what do you want me to know? And what do you want me to do? And guys, this is how he gently leads us. He shepherds us by showing us. John 10:27-29 says this, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish, and neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. That is not a God who is sitting there waiting for you to measure up. That's a God who wants to walk with you. He wants to know you. He wants to help all the parts of you. He wants to hold those parts of you and love those parts of you and help walk through whatever it's going to take to heal those parts of you. This morning, my child that was struggling so much looks across the table at me and says, I thought I was in trouble. And that makes me cry because this kid has been making some bad choices, but that actually wasn't what this meeting was for. This meeting was because I think the reason this kid has been making bad choices is this kid is having a hard time right now. And as his parents, we actually just wanted to build a safe place for him to talk about it and for us to help this kid grow and cause thriving for them. Guys, I think we are a lot like my child that wonders if they're in trouble, that is scared to look at the parts of themselves because they think, if I look at this, then I'm going to have to be honest with myself and God and other people that I'm a bit of a mess right now. And what I would say is, yeah, you probably are. Of course you are. Of course you are. I mean, it's been a bit of a you-know-what show for the last few years for all of us. And of course this is hard. Of course you're not thriving and perfectly whole and well. And yay for you if you are, but I bet not every part of you is. And I bet to some degree we've been scared to look at those parts of us because we don't know what to do with them. And the word my kid used today was, I just felt so helpless. I felt like I didn't think there were answers. I didn't think I could change. But the reality was, we're as parents, we have answers. We actually know what this child needs. We actually know what's best for them. And so to get to a place where we're interacting with God out of a place of childlike faith, out of a place where our hearts are tender and we are like children, and God gets to be God, and God gets to love us and care for us. And just like we did this morning with our child, sit across from us and say, let me see those parts. Like, let's talk about those. Why do you think you feel that way? Well, let's get to the bottom of that. Why you're not typically this angry. Let's talk about where that's coming from. And this kid walked out and felt so loved. And you know what? Those parts of them filled up and felt safe. And we saw progress even today over breakfast. And guys, that's how we heal. Not by shaming ourselves and thinking that we should and thinking that we're failing, but by a greater vision. And we heal best in relationship with God and with other people that can look at our broken parts and go, you know what? I get that. And rather than shame you, I'd like to know why. Why are you feeling that way? And I think God already knows the answer. He already knows why. He already knows why it's hard for you to get out of bed in the morning. And so my favorite two questions, and we're going to ask them throughout this whole season, and I hope and I believe you will ask them throughout the rest of your life. God, what do you want me to know, and what do you want me to do? He'll show you each different things. But if we begin there, if we just begin by, God, what do you want us to know and what do you want us to do? I believe you'll know. I believe you'll know. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and there's a ton more content for you. So go down below and you can subscribe to my channel, and we post about twice a week. So come on, come hang out with us.